Yes, hello everyone. I'm doing great, Vinit. I am doing great. How is everyone? How is everything going? Yeah, today again we are back at it, trying to imitate great artists, and yeah, we're going to be. I saw this piece here by Victoria Zahorodniak. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce the name correctly, but it just looks amazing, and I like the vegetation. It's just something I haven't tried doing something a scene like this. So yeah, we're going to try and do it, but ours is going to be a bit more. We're going to try to go for a more realistic style. He was using a moisturized style here, so yeah, and he used Maya and Unreal Engine. The piece looks simply stunning, just a nice animated, so it's a real image. Yeah, let's see if we can get at least 25% of this, and we should be good. Let me first show you what we did yesterday. I think, was it yesterday? Yeah, sorry, yesterday. The final render. Yeah, so this is what we rendered yesterday, and the day before that we did this, and we also did wood cabin, this piece here, which I think really came out looking very nicely. Okay, so let me see. Let's see. Okay, so today, as I said, we are going to be doing that. But before we get into it, let's first do some quick promos. And by the way, another thing I would like to show you is that I have a second channel called Blender Templates, where you can watch the time lapses of the live streams. If you don't have time to watch the entire thing, you can just come here and watch the time lapse of the live stream here. So yeah, let's get into the promos, and then we can start working on the art piece. Yeah, so today's add-ons, I want to promote a car traffic library, which is a library of traffic. You can see every kind of vehicle you can think of, from planes, boats, cars. You even have balloons. This is just amazing, and they have a free version as well, so if you want to check out and give it a try, you can also do that. The links are already in the chat if you want to get that. They are also a Blender supporter. You can see how detailed the interior of the vehicles are. If you want, they're just a lot of vehicles, very well detailed, very well modeled. I can see they're also animated, rigged, so you can use them as you want. And yeah, so that's the traffic add-on, just packed with a lot of vehicles. Then the other thing I would like to promote is Botanic, which is another add-on that I use constantly. It's an add-on that comes with that is packed with a lot of trees and vegetations that you could use for your assets in Blender. Let me make sure that I actually have these links in the chat. In the description, I think I didn't have the traffic ones. Let me Control H. Why didn't? Okay, we're going to get into this quickly. I just need to set up a few things that I should have set up before stream, but I guess I didn't check correctly. Let me just make sure that everything is running smooth. Okay. Yeah, also this add-on called more graphical animation physics. It's just a physics-based system that works. Add-on that works very well with Blender. You can use it to make explosions, any type of physics you want in Blender, fireworks, everything. Again, the link is in the chat, I guess. And then there's also Chaos Ultimate Distraction add-on, makes very good distraction scenes. I think we have spent a lot of time on this on the promos. So if you want to check them out, the links are in the chat. If you so you can have a look at them. Anyway, let's get into today's live stream, which is making something like this. Again, let me post a link in the chat for anyone who wants to check it out. Hello, Kazaik 3D. How are you, brother? Hello, Skynet Design. How are you? How to create an NFT cyber monkey type character in Blender? Such stuff does require more than 2 hours that I usually have for live streaming. Let me just move my chat on the side. Yeah, the link in the chat is in the chat if you want to follow along. And let me just set up my stuff here. Okay. So let's try and create something like this. We can start by creating a scene like this, and we can start by sculpting a surface like this. So I'm going to grab a plane. Let me see, is there a better way to make the terrain? So if we start with a plane like this, subdivide it, and add a displacement modifier like that. Hi, what is must-have free add-ons and building for game models, design, factory, and Blender settings? Must-have free add-on. Must-have free add-on. Let me see. Can I remember any from top of my head? I actually don't know much. Don't know many free add-ons that you could use. I don't really know many free add-ons. Let's go to Scout, because add-ons take a lot of time to make, so most people are not going to have them for free. I'm not going to give them away for free, so that's usually the issue. I'm going to use this layer. We always start out with a piece like this, and then just change a few things and see. We just use these art pieces as inspiration for ourselves, just a starting point. Let's see. You want to create some sort of cliff here. Really high cliff. There is a flatten tool. It's not. Let me grab this. I usually like to work while I'm looking at materials. So let me go to my asset library here and look for ground material that I could use. Seems I have a bug in my now adding a few features to the add-on, so I think I now have a bug. Let me see. Now let me try and fix this bug a bit, because I need to use this add-on quite a lot. And if I have a bug right now, it's going to delay. So I have a bug underline directory is invalid, category path, material. Okay, now let's just make this Let me see, can I search for other stuff like grass and be okay? Okay, it seems that my materials are not going to search correctly, but that's okay. Let's just set up a new material. I'm just going to go to my materials, textures, and search for a grass texture here. Let me just use box projection here. Now let's bring back this piece. Yes. Have that. Better start from 0. Yeah, I guess that's what I have to do because my add-on is broken right now. Fix it later. Hi. Hello, Raj, the gamer. How are you? Which asset library is this? I use Blender Kit. This is my own add-on that I use to search through my folders for different models that I've made previously. Hello, Electroflix. How are you? Glad to see you. Think you're new here. How are you? Okay. Yeah, so I want the sides here to be rocky, so I'm going to find a rock like this, import it in. Now I can also use box projection or hello, Burning Bright. Glad to see you. How are you? How's everything? You love working with geometry nodes? Yeah, could we use it here? We could use it here, but I'm just going to stick with the particle system because I'm more familiar with that. Yeah, so let's create a mask that is going to have the top facing faces have the grass material and the sideways faces to have this rocky surface material. So to do that, I'm going to bring in an input geometry. I think I need a geometry node. Yeah, geometry node. And then separate. I'm using my quick functions add-on, by the way, to do this. So I can use the separate XY from the normal so that I can get all the faces that are facing up. Let me first shade smooth. That are facing up. I can use a math node with a greater than value so that all faces that have a facing a threshold greater than this can have a different material. And actually I just think I need to set up a new completely different material here. So let me duplicate this so we can that's not what I wanted to do. So we can hello, finally can be on your live stream. Great. So it's your first time here? Sim Trio Games. Nice. Glad to see you. Okay, let's do, I'm calling this Lighthouse. Okay, I can mix these two and use the mask we have just created from face normals. Why this is hanging for some reason. I'm not sure why Blender is hanging this too many times this nowadays for me. Yeah, so we can use this as a mask. Try creating threading topic in Blender. You can get views. What kind of threading are you talking about? Do you mean? Hello, Salty Boy Beats. How are you? Glad to see you. Are you like a producer? Yeah, so we have that. And now we have the grass elements here. Let me see. You can see now if I go to sculpting right now, I can turn on Dino Topo again, continue sculpting, and the mesh will update the textures will update. So I want also to have this kind of I don't know how they call it, protrusion. I want this area here to protrude. Let me change this to 6, the detail size to 6, so that we are able to kind of add in more extra details. Yeah, so let me dig deep in there. Have this protruding out. Edge weathering. Nice. I didn't know that. So it's when you have like a hanging cliff. Like that. Hello, Lutalemwa, how are you? Let me also get some rock details in here. Let me find a lighthouse. Let me see, tower. Just start adding elements as we go. I have this lighthouse. It's not exactly the same model as this. Let's go back here. See if this will fit our scene. Let me change my camera angle for a bit here. Now we can go to use cycles for this. From red. Yeah, I'm not sure what you mean, but oh yeah. Yeah, so the person who typed in vom red, I think, is that Russian? Is that Russian language you're typing? Could you have that in like if your name is not in English, could you like try to write it in English? For me, how would you pronounce that in English? Are you able to? I just want to know how you would have that pronounced. I see you have 200 plus videos on your channel. Damn, yeah, I've been doing this for a while. Hello, Manam Perry, how are you? Okay, let's also grab a sky texture. Bring the ozone up. Let's change I think the angle can be, I like using 45. Let me see, what else can we add? Elevation can stay like that. Let's see, we need to, let me see. Let's reduce the strength, 2.1. Yeah, something like that. We can change this to a lighthouse like this. For now, we just wanted to have something there. One thing I'm seeing is that we can add more detail to this. Let me pause and just come back here. Can you give me some GI baking tips in Blender? Yeah, I have a whole tutorial on that. I just search for top channel 1-on-1 baking. I have like, oh, you mean global illumination baking? Using Eevee, I don't like it because it's usually too slow for me for my PC, so I don't do GI baking. And most times nowadays I'm using cycles, which doesn't really require baking GI. Okay, so then let me reduce the strength of this a bit. Maybe use the draw tool. because I want to draw a path here that goes to the lighthouse. And I think we need the lighthouse to have more ground. So let me grab this. Now go back to sculpt mode. Sculpt. The lighthouse would be easy to make and true to style. Yeah, I'm going to switch this out to a lighthouse. But for now, just let me first make sure that this surface here. Okay. Let's see. Okay, I think this side here has to go down a bit, so let's go back. Let me get some water. Let me create a water material. Okay. Yeah, this is, we can do a quick water shader here. All we need is a noise texture. Connect that to the bump. Make this a bit bluish and dark. Reduce the roughness. Okay. Now let's add some grass. Oh, okay. But I think before we add the grass, let's make this path here. I think we still need to use the sculpt. The sculpt brush here. Okay. I really like the water shader of Scatter add-on. Have you watched it or used it? I don't remember it. I'll check it out and see. Now I think we can, let me see. Let me turn on wireframe here for a bit, because I want to go to sculpt mode, and grab myself a dino topo. Let me see, can I use a smooth brush or a draw brush here? I want to draw a path from up here, from the camera point. Let me reduce the strength. So this is going to be a path, and we want to have a good number of vertices here, so we can do some vertex paint. And actually, we can now go to vertex paint. Actually, before we do that, yeah, we can go to vertex paint here. Turn off wireframe for a bit. Go to vertex paint and paint a path. Like this. Hi, join you now. Ah, nice. Nice, Fahad. How are you? How is everything? Hello, Jithin. How are you? Glad to see you. Let's see. Okay, so we can bring in, let's have this down. We can bring in the vertex color. You can see this is going to be our path, and so for that we can let me grab an image texture here, resources, let me just use my library here, search for ground. I have this here. I can import that in. And I can also just use object mapping. And now we can create a new shader here for our ground. Let me expand this a bit so you can see much easily. So this is going to be our ground surface. You can use it as the roughness as well. And we just need to use our, just wait for the shaders to compile. Okay, now all we need is use the factor from the vector, and wait for the shaders again. Yeah, you can see now how our path is. Basically everywhere that we have the vertex color, we have our path. And we can even go back to vertex paint and paint in more areas. Yo, thank you for subscribing, Juan Carlos Sebastian Gonzalez Frontera. God, that's a long name, man. Okay, I need this to be green here, like that. You can use a gradient from the camera towards the lighthouse to control contrast of the grass color, because there is less difference in yeah, I think we can also use some shadows to break up the grass a bit. But for now, this is just a texture, but we're going to add actual grass elements to it. So maybe we can do that now. And for the grass, let's see, how are we going to approach the grass? Let's go to top. Because the grass is usually grass never grows where rock is, so we need a way to select just that. So let's do top down select, and just deselect anywhere we don't want grass to be. We can just deselect that. Because we are going to use vertex paint. Weight paint. Okay, so now we can create a vertex group. Vertex group here, like that. Hello, Kapil Patel. How are you? I'm doing great. And you? How is everything? Okay, let's go to. I'll call this grass. I'll call this road. And this is grass. Now, because I changed the other name, I need to make sure that the attribute here is also using the same. The shader is also using the same name to update everything. I think I need to get rid of this, but let's first look at grass. I'll go to the create a new particle system here. Let me first pause the render. Use hair, 1 meter for the length, and density we can use grass, and we can also go to weight mode. Weight paint mode, just to make sure that we have the grass where it's supposed to grow. Now you can paint out the areas you don't want the grass to be. And in the render, let's first go back to object mode, and let's see. Then let me go back. Let me see. Hair shape. So there are a few ways to render grass, and Eevee renders it differently from Cycles. Don't you think the path is very uneven? Just saying. Yeah, it is. I'm going to fix it. In this area here, we're going to smoothen out that part. And actually, maybe let's do that before. Let's go to sculpt mode and just smoothen out this area here. And this hinge here is also 2. Yeah, you're right. It's too rough for a path. And that this part here should also be a bit smooth. Okay, now for the grass. Let's see, we can use a hair shader, but we need a different object here. To test that on, you can call this grass, and add that here. Add the grass shader here, and make sure that this object uses the particle system uses that grass material. So if we come here, we can change this to grass, to a hair shader. Now I want to use very few hair particles, like 100, and then just increase the children. So we can turn on children here. Let's use 100, and you can see the height is already too high. Let's do about there. Yeah, and the size, and you have to be careful with the radius, because if you have the radius too big, the hair start floating around. All the grass starts floating around. So let's increase this to 1,000 and see if we are covering everything. Just need to change the grass a bit. Like that. I'm also going to go to let me see, is it under hair shape? Play with the diameter a bit so that we have more thicker hair. Like that. And I'm going to also, under render, we can also do, let me see, under, I think it's under children, we can turn on roughness here, so that the hair, the grass is not just growing directly up, so that is a bit wavy and stuff. Also, like, let me see, are they under here? Let me see. We can go back to the curves here. Let me see. You can increase the thickness of the particles a bit. Yeah, so now our grass is more visible, but the colors are too even. You can sculpt either. You can either sculpt it. Let me see. You're saying we need. You can sculpt it because from the perspective, easy from the perspective, or sculpt the rod. Yeah, I can do that, but it's. And you know, one thing I can do. I think our landmass is a bit. It's quite uneven. Let me first add a smooth modifier here just to reduce on some of the unevenness. Make this even wider. Yeah, something like this I think is more desired. You can see, you can now tell the path, where the path is. And another thing, looks lovely. Thank you, Brandtunes. Yeah, so now this is much better, I think. And another thing we could do, let me see. Yeah, so this is our camera, and it's viewing the world in this angle like this. So meaning that all the particles this side are just being wasted. So let's go to weight paint and remove all the particles from this side. Let me first turn off this. So we don't need extra particles here. We don't need particles this side. So only where the camera is seeing, and you can even tell from the perspective of the camera what parts have particles. So let's go back to object mode, turn this back on. Yeah, now it's better. Nice. Add VDB for the clouds and increase the sun angle. VDB for the clouds and increase for the sun angle. Oh, you mean VDB for the cloud? Like I would have to have a VDB cloud already. Do you mean like import a VDB? I think now the scene is starting to look good. We can add, let me see, some small stones in here. So let's create a new vertex group, and I can call this stones, and I want it to be next to the path. So I'll go to weight paint and just paint some stones around, following the path. Let me first turn off the particle systems here. So we want to have some stones around there. And if we go back to weight paint again, we can use the smooth tool to kind of smoothen that a bit. Hello, Muhammad Muhu. How are you? How are you? Okay. Now for the stones, let me search for some stones here, or rocks. I have a few here. Let me grab this, add it in the scene. So it's too detailed for what we want. Let's decimate it. Something like that. Let me see. Still has a lot of points, so, and this is the text it's using. Let me resize that to divide by 3. Okay, something like that. That's what we want to use. I'll have this in a rocks collection. Disable that for a second. Now we can create a new particle system. If you add VDB clouds over the environment, the lighting in the environment looks softer because the light deflects in many directions. Yeah, but VDBs are very heavy on the CPU. I don't think my PC can handle that. Can handle using volumetrics and the scene itself. But we'll see. Yeah, so let's add a new particle system. We can use around, 1,000 is okay. The render, we can use objects, and we can grab the rock asset here. you want to use here, and under actually we need to use multiple rocks here. You know, it doesn't really matter. Let me first decimate this as well. Decimate again. That's another rock we can add to the rock collection. So for our particles now, we can, instead of using one rock, we can use an entire collection of rocks like that, and we want them to be in to use the stones, and we can do, let me see, we can scale them down, randomize the scale, and randomize the rotation. Just randomize everything. No, we don't need that many, but we can have some children. Now, if we add all the modifiers together, let's see. Yeah, so that's what we have so far. Hello, kind sir. Just finish a mobile missile launcher in Blender. What are we up to today? Nice, a mobile missile launcher. That sounds amazing. Yeah, we are doing this scene here, just imitating great artists. This is a piece from ArtStation, and we're trying to create something similar. And yeah, sometimes when I apply grass to terrain, the grass flips and scatter below the terrain. How to fix that? That is usually a problem with your normals. You just use Shift N to recalculate the normals, and that should be good. Bro, can you make tutorials on anim? Animo is a bit hard. I don't know. It's not that easy to make, and it takes a lot of time to do. So it's very broad. So do you mean anim characters, or what exactly do you mean here? Because that's really broad. Let me go back to weight paint here. Draw in a few points like that. Okay, something like that. Simple anim bro, lo-fi type. Maybe you could send me, bro, just use online characters, please, bro, I want to learn. Maybe you can send me an example of what you want in Discord server. Just send me an image of what you're trying to learn, and see maybe I can do something. Hello, Anav Asathish. Which software do you use for post processing? I would use Photoshop, but I rarely post process my stuff. When I'm done with live streaming, I usually don't go back to the project. Yeah, so another thing we could do is add some variation in color for this. So I can add a noise texture and add a mix node here. And first grab, you can see our noise texture. Maybe add a math node here. with a power. You can see that way we can vary the colors of the grass. So I can use this as factor, and color 1 can be still this color. You can see now we have some, like maybe you could use multiply just to give our grass some variation in color. So before, you can see it was too bright, I think, but now we can introduce some variation just like that. Another thing we could do is add like a large plane like this with let me see, or we can use, let's use a circle, a curve object, because I want to create some artificial shadow casts. Arsenic makes amazing anime background art, super recommended. Yeah, you can check them out. Check Anix, whoever Larian is recommending, because everyone has a different style. So if you get someone who is into the specific style you're into, they're usually the better people to learn from. Let me go here. This is supposed to be 2D and I want it to be filled. I like that. And that's going to be our shadow cast. So let's see. Yeah, so we want this to cast a shadow in different areas. And we can also make it under visibility so that it's not visible to the camera. Bro, can you reply my message top? And bro, can you give your add-ons for free, because I am a student, I can't afford it. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm unable to do that, because if I just start giving them away, then everyone might start becoming a student, and I need a way to support myself. So add-ons really help me a lot. Okay, let me get a fence here. Let's add some fencing. I think I can grab this, add it. Is on YouTube, but I cannot find the tutorials. Just search the name and see if he comes up. Your noise factor is use noise as factor and give the other slot a desired color. Let me see. Oh, you mean for the grass? As a factor. That could also work. Let me see. Guess we could use mix. He's on Twitch mainly. Okay. Why he would give you add-on for free, then he give it for free to every student? Yeah, it's unrealistic for me to do. Just use exclamation mark socials. But I rarely post on Instagram, so let me see what else can we do. Let's make this lighthouse, and let me get rid of the cloud as well. Let me create a backup collection here, like a BK collection. Okay, let's create a lighthouse there. Is that with a mesh? Extrude up. Yeah, I don't want it to be too damn high. Yeah, so add a loop cut here. Yeah, I understand. I know wrong approach, but I asked him friendly. Yeah, no problem. There's no problem with asking, man. It's just that yeah, I can't afford just giving them away like that. Anyway, let's add a few details on this. Which one is easier to create environments, Blender or Unreal? To get, well, that's so with Unreal, setting up the environment is very easy, and making the environment look good in Unreal is very easy. The issue with Unreal is that you have to have all the models pre-made. You can't make models like this in Unreal Engine, so you need to have them pre-made. So that is kind of an unfair question for Blender, because yeah, if you are, yeah, still Unreal will be faster to work with if you're creating environments, because it's kind of more set up to handle large scenes much easier than Blender, because Blender has to cater for a lot of artists, different artists. So yeah, I don't know if that explains it well, but let me find a brick material here. Sources, PBR. Let me find some brick materials. I think this could work. Just use cube projection. Roughness. This should be mid occlusion. Maybe some volumetric haze might look good. Yeah, I think we can add something like that. Let me just get this material first. Yes. I think we can also add some kind of window here, so let me do that. Just and maybe make this a wooden door. I just separate this. Let me grab a new material. Let me see, wood. Let me grab something like this, use that as the base color and also as the roughness. Where's my roughness? Roughness. Add a math node here. Just simple details like this, I think, can make your piece look much better. So let's see. Something is going on that I'm not sure why. For some reason, let me see what's going on here. The normal map looks okay, so I'm not sure why this doesn't seem to be rendering. Yeah, okay. And I think we can also try to have some kind of paint on this. So I'm going to grab, let's have this shader here. I'm going to grab an image and go back to walls, like a painted, yeah, something like this. Now, let me do something like this. Just like that. And let me grab an input geometry node and a separate, actually I need a texture coordinate coordinates and separate xy. Separate xy because I want to grab the Z position like that. I want to create a mask where parts of this are paint and parts of it are rock. The bottom part can be rock. I don't know. Let's add a math node. Which, with this angle, stones are not visible. Just you can add some to the camera. Can see it on it. You mean the stones? Which stones are not visible? You're saying. Let's add a noise texture. Hello, Novera. Vera. Hi, please confirm you. I am wearing pants, man. How are you? Glad to see you. Let's try 2 and add a converter ramp here. Like that. So we can use we can add a math node. Sorry, a mix RGB. And use a color ban. Let's see, color dodge or color. Let's see, difference. No. Subtract. Subtract, and then another math node here with greater than. Let's see. If we do multiply, no. Color ban. Yeah, I think color band might give us what we want. Just a way to have some patches of a stone and rock. Consider this. Subdivide the tower. Select the faces. Press F3. Type select random. Extrude. We can do that, I think. So that we have some extruded faces. Yeah, I think we could do that. Let me first create this shader here. This. And we can add mix RGB here, so we can. Let me use overlay, change the color of the rock a bit. Now we can blend these to rock surfaces and just use this mask we created to determine the parts that are going to be I'm not sure it's turning out as I wanted it to. But Let's just go with just the rock, the bare rock texture. Hello BA Nation, how are you? What you pressing for frequent operations? I'm using Q. Q and Shift Q is my add-on, and Q is just frequent favorites. Let's see. Let's add this tower here. Let me first pause for a bit. I just start with this base. Extrude up. Insert. Out. Insert. We can create a new metal shader now. Let me see, if we just use a plain color here, if we add color mix RGB on this, so that we can play with the color here. Can be fully brick, or I think we can just leave it there. I need a new material here for metal. I need a metal surface. Can grab something like this. Just make sure we're using object mapping. This is going to be the base and the roughness. What should you make? 2 hours left. I don't know. Make something you want to make, man. Can't really decide for you there. I think we can have this as a metal surface. Let me use a mix RGB. Let me pause here. Yeah, we want a metal surface here, but I want parts of it to be red. So we can add I think a surface like this, looks good enough. Let me add a bevel to it. Okay. Voronoi node work for the effect you want. Apply a mix shader through the bump texture, and I will suggest subdivide then select random to extrude. You mean for the details, for the extra, I don't know, walls? Then let's add in these I think this can be glass. So for glass, we can use a transmission here, non-metallic. Next RGB, have this as a factor. What's the modifier to make something follow the curve path? That's not a modifier. It's a constraint. It's called the follow path constraint. Okay, I can select a few of these. Shift D, then use individual origins. Shift D, scale them down, extrude up, and we have that. I think we might also need Shift D. I think we also still need these pieces here. Shift D. I think I want this to be white as well. I think the white looks... Yeah. There is an amazing glass shutter in Blender. Only material library add-on in user preferences. I don't mean to tell you what to do. I'm just having fun for being part of the journey. Now, it's okay. I always get suggestions from the chat, so I'm not really bothered by that at all. Actually, I really love it when you suggest. So one suggestion you made, I was just getting up to it. Let me first pause here. So you're saying to have a few selections like this. Actually, your suggestion was to select a few faces. I mean, we need a few subdivisions, I think, like this, and then do actually is select random. No, you select and then do select random and use the deselect option. Was this your suggestion? Because I think, let me undo this and we extrude just a tiny bit. So we have, so that the silhouette has some extra detail to it. Was that the suggestion? Yeah. I'm curious, is this Eevee or Cycles? Just out of interest, what does it look like? in other renders. So this here is cycles, and the reason I'm using cycles for this is because if it doesn't really render hair very well, or doesn't render grass very well, you can see instead of rendering, it's just rendering it as black. It doesn't support the shader. So Burning Bright was suggesting to add more particles to the rod. Let's see, 50 or 500. For some reason, ours doesn't seem like the tower is very fast. So what I'm going to do is scale this in this direction. I want to scale this in this direction. Oh, let me see. Yeah, in that direction. So to do that, let me first turn off the particle systems because they slow down everything. I'm going to add an empty here, rotate it in the direction I want to scale, and then just parent this to that, control object, and then scale this in the X, just so we have this in a very far distance, because I want this to look like it's in a distance. Yeah, something like that at least. Scale the tower and make it smaller. Let me see. And bring back. I think I need to bring the grass. Like that. That maybe we need more particles for the grass, for the grass. Let's just have it as 1,000. Overall scale, not Shift Z. How to add small detail on wall using normal? You need a normal map for that. You would need a normal map, an actual normal map. Now we need some clouds. Let's see if we can use, let me first pause this. Let's just see if we can use a plane with a diffuse shader. Actually, just use an emission shader and a transparent shader. Blend the two, and we can find a cloud image. A cloud image like this, or like this. Use this as the factor. I think we might need a car ramp. How would you change the shape of the faces you selected? Most every are pretty much the same size. Maybe put some ivy on the tower. Oh, yeah, an ivy would be great. Let me add that. use you sculpt brush on the ground. Okay, I'm not sure what the first question meant. What faces do you mean? Let's first add the clouds and then add the ivy. Okay, so this is going to be our cloud that we can have way back there. And we want the cloud to always face the camera, so I'm going to add a constraint. I'll look at constraint. Is it look at or track to constraint? And select the camera as the target. That will guarantee that the clouds are always facing the camera. Now, if we want the clouds to be a little bit more transparent, we can do that too, so that they seem like they're in the distance. Duplicate this one more time. Just making sure it's within the view distance. Such a different cloud. This time, let's try this. Just a bunch of clouds. And the horizon. And I think I could do is maybe add a few subdivisions like this, and just turn this into a curve. Like curve this. We can use the bend modifier, I think, or the simple default modifier. Yeah. Let me just turn off the constraint first and just have this curved. Yeah, some clouds like that. Now we can get some trees to add in to this. I was saying scale the lighthouse on. Yeah, I did that, I think, and made it a bit thinner. I just for fun, could you model a giant penguin firing laser beams at the tower? Yeah, that's it sounds simple, but it's actually quite some bit of work. And we have just a few, maybe like 30 minutes left for the stream. But one thing is that we cannot create large landscapes in Unreal while I'm creating a large landscape in PC. My Blender bursts out. Oh, you mean like we can create large landscapes in Unreal Engine? Because that's very much possible in Unreal Engine. Even in Blender, it's just you have your PC usually limits what you can do in Blender. Yeah, let's add some trees here. Let me see, can I? Let me use the botanical add-on, link in the description if you want to get it yourself. Let me pause this for a bit. Let's spawn a large tree somewhere. Also have some flowers. Want some large tree. Maybe this mango tree also looks nice. We can have it next to the path. Some sunflower, this weed here, add it there, add it there. I want a large tree. Maybe something like this. Could be at the side. To balance out everything. Landscape has improved a lot. Oh, the landscape, the generator, you mean? Yeah, I think so. I think it has. You have this maybe here. It is the second option, light trees. Yes, sometimes I can't tell what you guys are talking about, but what lighting system? Filmic log? No, what you want to. If not, what would it look like? Oh, you mean to change the. Do you mean like change the lighting? Let me see. That's under color management. Yeah, we are in filmic. Let me use low contrast, high contrast, medium high, like that. I think we can also have some rocks here. So let me go back to weight paint. Just pause this. Paint around here, so we have some rocks. And this can be somewhere here. Yeah, some nice flowers there, some rocks. Tips and tricks to get a fried potato. Step 1, buy a PC. Step 2, turn on massive render for K in cycles with a high res model. Wait an hour. After 1 hour, you have a fried potato. Yeah. Depends on landscape. Unreal Landscape doesn't have crazy mesh detail, and it supports LOD. If I'm not mistaken, you can do same in Blender until you have sculpt 10 million faces. Yeah, Blender is limited somehow. I think the reason for why Blender sometimes seems incapable of doing as much as Unreal is because I think Blender has to keep all the data for editing the mesh, while Unreal Engine doesn't really have to keep the mesh data, since you're not really going to edit the meshes there. And let me see, do I have a swing here? Swing. No. Sit. Chair. Let me add this to the scene. Maybe somewhere far here in the distance you have a chair. The big tree feels out of place. Are this here? It seems way too high poly compared to the grass. Let me see. Could be right. We need something to add here, so let me see. Let's find that. Replace this with a different tree and see. Let's try that. This looks a bit too tall. Good work. Thank you, Cameron. Thank you. I'm not sure about that one. Let me try this. Maybe they have a few mango trees here, and then we also grab this fence here. Yeah, I think it's starting to look better. Maybe another thing I could do is just They also have a small house. So I do have small houses too. So let's do that. House. Home. I don't have. Let me see. Now I have this rod that is much more detailed than what we have here. So maybe let me add that. And where is that? Is it this? Yeah. Yeah, this here. This rod is much more detailed than what I have here. So I'm going to grab it. Much better. The depth of the field with the object cells. With the object cells it. Huh. Aye. Which object? I do think the lighthouse looks too perfect. Those things take a lot of damage from storms. Let's see what from storms, missing bricks and damage. Yep, that. You can see this is also too perfect. So maybe this is a new one. I don't know, because adding that kind of damage is a nightmare. Okay, I'm waiting for the shaders to compile here so that I can add in my rod, which is where? That road. Okay, so it's here. Let me do. Okay, so here is my rod. Looks more detailed. One thing I'm going to first, because it works with a curve, so I'm going to add a shrink wrap. And this use projection, and just if I turn off this, should just follow this. Then this. Not working the way I want. Did you know broken pencils are pointless? And don't like it. Nice pan. Let's go to my decos pack. Maybe you can find some interesting pieces to add. Oh, I wanted a house, and I do have a house. You remind me of Ask NK. Voice is similar. Yeah, and I think the accents are a bit similar. Let me see what I want. A house. Why can't I find house? Home. Oh. Home. Yeah, I have this house that I think fits nicely into the scene. We can have it also add a small tree. Like that. And maybe these shouldn't be too reflective, so let me add a math node here. Shouldn't be and now these trees don't look as bright as I want them to be, so I'm going to add an area light here. So that I can control how they look. Yeah, so I want them to be a bit brighter there. Same with this one here. Yeah, something like that. Put a roster on the roof. The way the lighthouse keeper can wake up in the morning and visit the wife in the next city. Yeah, unfortunately I don't really have a roster model, but that would be a nice addition. I made something when I should render it. It will take 1 to 2 hours, and I go to bed in an hour. I just leave it rendering. Just leave it rendering. We can also grab a rock, some random rock, like this, and just add it somewhere. Just so we have parts of the terrain looking a bit different. Nah, you know what? I don't like that. Let me grab a large rock here. Yeah, maybe something like that. Let's end up a really nice scene. Thank you. Thank you. I think, yeah, I think I agree with you. It's starting to look nice. Maybe a tree on the side to just have some shadow. Yes, like that. Let me see what else can we add here. Or should I render my very original defiantly, not universal, but animation intro CS? I started it this afternoon and it took 2 hours to do 25 frames out of 700 and 2 hours. Well, that doesn't seem too bad if you are rendering 250 frames in 2 hours. My boss asked me why I was late for work. I told them we got hungry and ate the chicken last night. He would be very much fired if you say that. Yeah, I think I'm going to end our stream here. This is what we have done. I think it's looking good. Let me see if we change the time of the day. That also doesn't look too bad. Not too bad. Let's just have it at 15. The way it was. Yeah, maybe a little bit of color like that. And I think we need to reduce how emissive this is. And also make the clouds blend in just a tiny bit. Prefer sunset, rise around 7-8 a.m. I think this is also somewhat sunset or sunrise. Let me use my quick functions just to play with the colors. I think it came out nicely. Yes, some additional coloring effects. Yeah, I think I like that. I'm going to give this a quick render, and yeah, I'll see you in the next video. If you want the project file to be on my Patreon page. Thank you. See ya.